Good afternoon, SRCC community. Today, we have with us Mr. Mohit Arora, an illustrious alumnus of SRCC. Mohit was a brilliant student, an enthusiastic sports person, and was a leader in making at SRCC. Today, he has come back to the campus to relive some memories and craft many more. So over to you, Mohit. Welcome back.
Thank you, ma'am, so much. It's like coming back home.
Yeah. So Mohit, when you crossed the gate today, when you came inside, which was the first thought which came rushing back to you?
So honestly, I had the privilege of coming back in the interim years as well. So I passed out in 2010, but for the last few years, I've been coming back to college for recruitment. So I have been coming back home quite often, and I would say every time, and this one obviously being so special, being called by the college himself, I think every time when I enter, I think it's a larger than life image that kind of pops in front of you, where there's a 20-year-old along with my dad walking the main door, looking at the towering red building. There is a mix of excitement and accomplishment. You have achieved something which you let out for. When I joined commerce in 11th, 12th, I remember everyone saying that SRCC is the only target you should have in mind. So when I walked into those doors with my dad, I think there was a sense of accomplishment and achievement that I've done something. But at the same time, there's a little bit of a nervousness. Now you're rubbing shoulders with the best of the minds in the country, and you are going to be first time away from home. I was in the hostel for 3 years. So essentially this was my first home outside of that guarded, well protected environment. And I always used to have conversations with the day scholars saying that for you, the college is like a part of life. For us these 3 years are life. I spent more time here in those 3 years from 2007 to 2010 than I spent back home. And I think some of those feelings are even more profound today. We are celebrating 100 years of SRCC, and you feel privileged that you're part of such a journey. You're a chapter in that 100-year story. You're a part of that legacy, and it just feels extremely humbled to be part of that.
Yeah, so you just said that you lived 3 years on the campus. So, students who generally live on the campus, they contribute a lot to other activities in the college. And what I personally believe, I was also a part of the hostel for my postgraduate studies, that it actually shapes your personality. Does it resonate with you as well?
Absolutely, ma'am. You are just living the life for the first time on your own terms. You are living with frugality. You tend to contribute a lot more than just the academics, which I think a huge credit again back to SRCC. How, apart from ensuring a rigor at the academic level, they ensured that you develop as a well-rounded personality. So you're not only focused on academics, you're taking part in the leadership society work, you're taking part in sports, and living in a hostel close to the campus, it always used to help because you always had a day beyond the academic calendar to take care of some of those activities. So staying in the hostel for the first time helped you, one, develop yourself outside the academic life, and also prepare you for a real life when you're actually not living in that protected environment. You're living frugally, you have limited means, but yet you need to achieve your dreams.
So what were the societies you were associated with?
So ma'am, as a first year, if I remember, I was a member of a commerce society as well as a member of a math com society, and then in the second year I went and became the president of the math com society. So those were the two societies I was actively engaged in.
So I think finance is kind of in your DNA.
It's just
Maths,
finance, commerce, it's just ingrained.
Yeah, so because when you went to IIM Bangalore, I believe there you were associated with some finance society.
Yes, finance club as well.
So it was kind of like, the maths and finance, they go together.
It was very, very focused. Yeah, something that I loved. And I think that has kind of played out in my career trajectory as well.
So how did you manage, be it at SRCC or at IIM Bangalore, how did you manage all the three domains, extracurricular, academics and sports?
I always call extracurriculars as co-curriculars, ma'am. I think that's the right way to put it. It was never about choosing one over another. It was all about how do you embrace them? How do you get them together to serve a common purpose? And honestly, it was never that you are compromising one of another, because there were different parts of the year when you had to focus on different things. Closer to the exams, you need to focus on academics a little bit more. When you're closer to the events, probably the society works take a little bit of more of your time. And in sports, it's generally about consistency and ensuring that you're part of that training program to ensure that whenever it is a tournament, you're around to deliver. And I think SRCC again played a big role where the calendars were kind of mapped. It was never that our college event is contradicting with our university exams and vice versa. So I always ensured it's like well balanced throughout the year, which gives us an opportunity. And each of these three factors, I think, help reinforce each other. So if you're a part of the society, that leadership helps you in the sports, the discipline you build at the sports helps you in the academics, and obviously the technical rigor and the academics that you are learning as part of your curriculum, it helps you both in the sports and society. So everything goes on and it's like in a life, it's never about one thing that you focus and achieve excellence. It's all about a well-rounded personality, which I think each of these three, how you efficiently manage time and prioritize as and when required, I think that was one big learning being part of SRCC.
Yeah, thank you. It's an interesting perspective, and I'm sure our youngsters who are going to watch this interview of yours are going to learn a lot from this.
Thank you.
And going forward, Mohit, you went to Mumbai in 2013, you joined Blackstone, and you were associated with some of the prestigious portfolios, India Bulls, Salarpur, Panchsheel, all these were you were involved in. Out of these projects, or some which maybe I do not know about, which one do you think is something which you are which is very close to your heart, because maybe it was more challenging, or maybe you learned, or maybe it was very complex? So if you can just tell us.
So just to give you a perspective on the real estate, ma'am, a little bit, like now Blackstone, after being in the country for almost 2 decades, now we have a presence in each of the sub-verticals. So we have a big portfolio on the office side. We own a lot of malls. We own a lot of warehouses, data centers, hotels. The one piece of the puzzle that was missing up till earlier this year was the residential. We were not doing a lot of residential. We were not able to play that sub-vertical. We didn't know how to play that. We were always focused on that. It had massive tailwinds, but we're just trying to figure out the right strategy to play this. And earlier this year, an opportunity came where we actually took control of a listed company called Kolte Patil Real Estate Developers.
This Pune-based company.
A Pune-based company, ma'am. This was unprecedented because we had never done a residential in India. Globally also, we have a limited presence, and we had nothing in India to do so. It was a listed company. We had a handshake with the promoters on February 28th, and on March 12th, we signed the deal. So in 12 days, we signed a $150 million deal. 12 days of this, I think around 6 days were absolute night outs, where we are not even probably going back home for a nap. The entire team, locally and globally, came together, and we eventually delivered a transaction in 12 days and came on the other side with a sense of accomplishment that something which was unprecedented needed that kind of a rigor, needed that kind of a close hand-holding, because it's a listed scenario. You can't really get the news out, so you have to close the transaction in that tight time frame, and you actually did it. So it speaks a lot about the team that Blackstone has been able to build. It speaks a lot about the global leadership, that how this entire system, howsoever big, comes together to facilitate a transaction to ensure we continue to deliver for the investors. So this was really challenging, unprecedented, very tight time frame, working with SEBI, working with the listed security, and ensuring it gets done in a timely and efficient manner. That I think kind of stands out in my experience with Blackstone thus far.
Oh, that is wonderful. When you have been engaged in early career roles, and now you're managing director in real estate with Blackstone, how has your leadership style evolved, Mohit?
Ma'am, I would say in the early years, it's more individual focused. So my leadership style, I would say in the early years as an analyst associate, was more focused on getting my work done. So I'm focusing on getting my model first out, ensuring that my model is correct, doing the hard work, ensuring that the deals get done. I think as you grow in the career, and specifically within Blackstone, as you start taking a responsibility of a team lead, it's all about facilitating the others to be able to contribute to their 100%. So I am somebody who is kind of putting things together, but I'm not actually the one who is doing the model, who is doing the presentation, or who is doing the documentation or diligence. You see, each of the team members, I'm just ensuring that I'm coordinated with the counterparty, with our internal system, and ensuring everything comes together. So over time, you realize your leadership is more about facilitating how others are able to contribute their 100% rather than you yourself always trying to execute. And secondly, I think you then start getting a lot more comfortable with ambiguity. As a junior analyst or as an associate, you're more focused on numbers where A plus B is always equal to C. As you grow up, you realize the information is not always perfect, and there are always the opportunities when there is imperfect information, because if the information is perfect, everybody can run that model and make money. The reason you are able to differentiate and able to outperform your peers are because you were able to see something which others were not able to see. So you are triangulating the dots. You're always focused on that long-term vision that you have to deliver for investors, and at any point you're not compromising that for the short-term wins. So I think that living with ambiguity and ensuring that you facilitate your team to contribute 100%, I think that has been the core to my leadership over the last few years.
Yeah, you said something very interesting. You said living with ambiguity.
Yes.
So when the ambiguous situations arise, so how do you take decision? It's your experience or gut feeling?
I think it's a little bit of all, ma'am. I think the good thing that we have as Blackstone is it has like now 4 decades of experience, something which we might have not experienced in India. We have experience in US, Europe, Australia, somewhere. There's always some precedent that exists which you can fall back upon, saying, okay, how did this, in this kind of scenario, how some of these markets reacted or behaved, and is there an opportunity here where we able to think beyond the short-term hiccup and see that there is a larger opportunity on the other side and take a plunge. That's one. Second, I think again a lot to do with the Blackstone system and the culture that our team has been together for a relatively long time. I've been here with the system for 13 years. In the last 20 odd years, probably like 2 people we have lost to competition or to somebody who is starting on their own, right? So the entire team has stayed together. So there is a lot to learn from each other as to how they experience what they experience in similar situations arise, and obviously a little bit to do with your experience. And there's a gut feel, there's an underlying gut feel in every investment that you do. You're trying to forecast something for the next 5 years. You will never be able to determine every element that's going to affect that investment, everything that's going to change. So you're always trying to do a best guess estimate, but basis some precedents, basis some guidance from the seniors, basis some experiences that you have learned in other markets, and trying to put that together and see if this still makes sense on a risk-adjusted basis.
Mohit, you are going through such an intense career. How did you find time to do your FRM certification and come out with flying colors with 1 out of 5 only in India to get a scholarship?
I think it again goes back to the same when you started at SRCC. When you're in the school and you're eyeing for something like SRCC, your focus is purely academics and you try to like outperform there and get a seat there. But I think here the environment is very, very cordial or embracing to ensure that you're not only focused on academics. So it's always like pushing your boundaries, ensuring that you will always look out for what next. You are with the peers who are always trying to do something new, who are always exploring, and some of those habits became innate in you, and which helps you beyond the college as well. Whether it's on a professional life, personal life, you're always on the watch out to do what next and how to do whatever we are doing in a more efficient and a more better way. You never settle. I think that just gets innate. You never settle.
So thank you for giving SRCC the credit to develop, since you were there for 3 years and you have so kindly said it. So I'll put it like this, that lifelong love for learning you have got from
Absolutely. This has been the first home outside of home. I've said this multiple times and I can't say it enough. This was the place where I started to figure out things beyond academics. And while I ensured my rigor on academics continue, but I think some of the other things that I could participate or embrace as a part of the SRCC, they have gone a long way.
Yeah, so Mohit, you have been really helping us with internships and placements. So when do you come here or you go to any other campus? I'm sure my young students will be interested to know what are the traits which you look for besides, of course, the technical stuff.
I would say, ma'am, technical stuff, as you rightly said, is the bedrock, is the threshold. And unfortunately, we have a relatively higher threshold for rigor, hard work, and strategy thinking inside Blackstone. I think apart from this, some of the things that differentiate people, one is just the curiosity. Just the willingness to ask questions, to know what's happening, why it's happening, and is there a better way to do it. While just because we have been doing something for last decade or so doesn't mean that it's the right thing or the most efficient way of doing things. So somebody who's curious, because a large part of, ma'am, our investment success is based on triangulating the dots. But to triangulate, you essentially need to know where the dots are. You need to be curious to understand beyond your immediate work profile, to understand what's happening and how it's going to impact directly, indirectly to any of my businesses that I look after. So I think curiosity is very important. Second, I would say, is ownership of work. We are a very small team. We are a 25, 26 people team. Each deal team is comprised of 3 to 4 people, each effectively taking care of the respective work stream. It's impossible for one person in those tight time frames to look at everything, review everything, and second, have another pair of eyes to look at something which is being done. So every individual, whether it's an analyst, associate, principal, or senior associate level, or even at a managing director level, you need to take ownership for your work. Whatever you're doing is 100% accurate. You own this up and ensure this gets done in an efficient, in a high quality manner. And third, I think it's just about embracing leadership and being part of the team. Each of us are bright, brilliant. Everybody who has made his way into SRCC has outshone some of the other peers. But I think at any point in time, there has to be a thought process where there is always to learn from others, right? You come together as a team. We do high stake investments, large investments, tight time frames. You always have to work as a team, and in team there is no I. So you have to work together as a team, come together. So your ability to work as a team, I think, is very, very important that we look out for. So I would say curiosity, ability to own what you are doing, and to lead your effort as well as work as a team. I think some of the traits that we look out when we hire people.
Thank you, Mohit. Mohit, when you look back, what success meant to you as an 18-year-old and what it means to you now? Is there a change?
Absolutely. I think the success at that time was very tangible. That the success at that time meant that you are securing first rank in the school, in the university, in the college. At that, and probably earlier in Blackstone, success meant getting your model right, getting the model first out there, getting the presentation right, closing a deal. I think over time, as you grow in your career, as you progress in the career, I think success now, it's more about the relationships you're building, more about the legacy you're leaving, more about how you're facilitating your team members to perform to their topmost ability. So, and in fact, today sitting here, I would say this is the best definition of success. Being here at the centenary of SRCC, coming back where it all started, life completing a full circle, I don't think the success has any better definition than sitting here in front of you and trying to recollect whatever the memories are for the last 3 years that I spent here.
So we wish you a lot of tangible as well as intangible successes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mohit, for us, tangible outcome is very important for our students too. And Mohit, you just said centenary. Of course, we are approaching our centenary year. What is your vision for SRCC 100 and beyond?
I obviously am an alumni, so I have a deep respect for the institute, but I would say outside of even the alumni, I think the industry has a lot of respect for SRCC as an institute. But I would say again, my limited 2 cents, ma'am, I'm like one of the 100 years of legacy, so like a very, very small part of this. So with all that caveats, I would say probably we can do a lot better in establishing or strengthening our global footprint. I think in India, SRCC, IIT, IIMs are all said in the same breath, saying these are the top grounds where the leaders have got shaped over time. I think globally people still have a knack for IITs and IIMs. SRCC is still something that needs a conversation. I think we can do a lot more in that. Secondly, I think we can continue to bridge this gap between the alumni and the students here. I think this is a great forum where you get to know your alumni, but at the same time doing a lot more of this. We have a very rich alumni base, trying to establish a connect with the industry where they come in, share their knowledge, both as a part of like real life learnings as well as some of the hiring and recruitment. I think continuing to bridge that delta between academics and industry, I think that I will continue to spend more time on. And congratulations to the team who has curated this. It's a brilliant idea to get, and I am a very dedicated listener to some of the interviews that have happened previously, and it's a great insight into some of the people you even don't know are part of SRCC Alumnus. It always gives you that connect with some of them whenever you want to reach out to them.
Thank you so much, Mohit.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for all your time, and I am sure our students have learned how important it is not only to have one success but to keep on shifting the goalpost. The way Mohit has put it, one after the other, he did it. Love for continuous lifelong learning and peer learning. Team spirit. These are the takeaways which I think are very, very important for our present generation students. Thank you so much, Mohit.
Thank you so much,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.